Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here. Today we're going to talk about how to deal with the objection, but we're a nonprofit. Hello my friends, welcome back to another episode of Advice for Magicians, where my job is to make you the best possible entertainers that you can be. On today's video, I wanted to talk about how to handle objections, specifically when you're trying to book a client and you give them your price and they respond back with, but we're a nonprofit though. So like, can you give us your best price, right? This is an objection that you'll hear every once in a while, especially if you're like in the corporate world where you're doing a lot of company holiday parties or companies rent you out to help them drum up some business, or maybe they're doing a charity fundraiser or something like this, right? So the question becomes, how do you handle a response like that when someone says, we want to book you, you look great, but like, you know, we're a nonprofit, so like, can you cut us a break? In this video, I want to talk about what a nonprofit is, first of all, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions around what a nonprofit is, how they're different from a regular for-profit business, and then what you can do to sort of combat this, you know, kind of silly objection, because in my opinion, it is that. It's just silly. So before I do, I wanted to get some business stuff out of the way, right? So if you're new here, welcome. Please click the subscribe button and don't forget to ring the bell so that you guys know anytime I upload a new video. A lot of people watch my channel, but a lot of them are not subscribed. So if you guys are binging my content, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. It really mean a lot. And we got some new members. Some new folks have joined the mob, and I'd love to shout some of them out here. So ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Bob McMahon, Jim Hathy Magician, Victor Globa, and Jeff K. Thank you guys for becoming members. It's because of you that I'm able to keep my channel going. These guys are going to get access to the early access videos, the tutorials playlist, which at the time of making this video has over 70 tutorials in it. They're going to get access to the family meetings, the live Q&A sessions that happen the first Saturday of every month. And some of them are even going to get direct one-on-one access with me, some private lessons where they can pick my brain about whatever they want. And if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in becoming a professional magician if you're not already, and might benefit from some of these one-on-one sessions, just saying. So if you guys want to check it out, I highly recommend you click the membership tab, see what my different tier levels are all about. Choose the one that's best for you, or if you just want to be a subscriber, please continue to like, share, and comment on all of my videos. I really appreciate you guys. So before we can talk about how to handle the objection, but we're a nonprofit, let's talk about what is the difference between a for-profit and a non-profit company, right? And when we're talking about profits, we're specifically talking about the profits that the company is generating. We're not talking about employees getting paid. We're not talking about having to spend money on growth or paying bills, like paying rent or any of that stuff. We're literally talking about the extra money after all the expenses have been paid out, right? And when I say expenses, I'm literally just talking about that, you know, paying your employees, paying the lease for the building that you guys are renting out, paying your utility bills, paying your internet bills, you know, putting money aside for expansion and growth. Maybe you want to open another office or whatever, right? All of those things are business expenses. The profits are what's left over after that. And for a for-profit business, usually what ends up happening is those profits are distributed amongst the officers at the top, or they're given to stockholders if it's a public business, right? Those profits are dispersed out to people who want to make more money, right? Usually people that are at the top of the company. Very few times, and I'm not saying never, sometimes, you know, the people at the bottom will get a bonus or something like that at the end of the year. But very few times these profits are not shared amongst, you know, the frontline people, the people building the widgets or whatever. Usually it's given to whoever the shareholders are, or the people at the top of the company, right? Your CEOs, your executives, your officers at the top of the company. So that's usually how a for-profit business is set up. Now a non-profit, it's pretty much exactly the same thing as a for-profit business. The only difference is that they're not allowed to keep, hoard, redistribute the wealth or whatever of those profits. They are supposed to put those profits to good use in a way that benefits the community. It's not meant to benefit the people at the top of the company. It's meant to benefit the community. So instead of the CEO getting a nice bonus at the end of the year, those profits, maybe they're turned into charity fundraisers or soup kitchens or something like that. Something that helps for the greater good of the community, you know? It's got nothing to do with the employees. I was always under the impression that a nonprofit didn't charge money for anything, that they were just operating for free. And some nonprofits might do that. They might take in just enough money to break even on the bills or whatever. And maybe they have volunteers who are not getting paid to work there, but that's not always the case. Most of the time, a nonprofit is a full-on functioning business, just like a for-profit company is. The only difference is, what do they do with that extra money that's left over after all of the expenses? Nonprofit organizations usually get some tax exemptions or major tax breaks. They don't have to pay as much money to the government because they're seen as a force for good for the community. So rather than putting that extra money that they'd be spending in taxes into the government, they're able to channel that into their operation, again, to do soup kitchens or to do fundraising events or whatever, charity events, things that are going to benefit the community, right? So if a nonprofit and a for-profit literally work the same way for the most part from like a money making standpoint, the objection, sorry, I can't pay you that much because we're a nonprofit, is not a valid argument in my opinion. Now, it may be that you're outside of their budget, but it's not because they're a nonprofit. It's because you're outside of their budget, right? There are plenty of for-profit organizations that I've given them my quote and they're like, oh my God, Michael, you're like the coolest magician I've ever seen in my life. You're better than the Angel Christopher guy, and we would love to hire you, but our budget is this, and your rate is outside of our budget. Is there any way that you can lower your rate so that we can hire you? And then, of course, you can go back and forth with them on whether or not you want to come down on your price, and that's completely up to you. But for them to say, well, you have to lower our price, we're a nonprofit, right? It isn't a valid argument in my opinion, because they're still paying their employees, right? They're still paying their rent. They're still paying their utility bills. They're still making money. It's a business. They're still making money, right? The only time that I will really honestly consider lowering my rate for some kind of objection like this is if they are a charity organization, and they have to be a legitimate charity organization, not just a business that's having a charity event. It has to be an actual registered with the government charity organization. And then oftentimes, if they tell me like, look, man, like we're a charity, we don't really have like a big budget. We don't really make a ton of money. Like we work from getting donations, and then like a big portion of the donations go to, the children's hospital, or they go over here, or they go to putting these soup kitchens together or whatever. I'll be like, you know what? You guys are helping out the community or whatever, and you guys are not really making a ton of money. Most of the people working here, they're probably working for free or for very little amount of money because they're, maybe donating their time, or maybe they're working for like service hours or community hours or whatever they need for college or whatever, right? In that case, I'm more than happy to have a more in-depth discussion with them about lowering my prices. But if they just come at you with, I'm a nonprofit, I don't want to pay you as much because we're a nonprofit, that just doesn't make sense to me. And what I usually will tell the client is I'll say, first of all, don't argue with them. Don't be like, hey, you're a nonprofit, you have the money for it, even though they might, right? What I usually say is something along the lines of, if you guys are a charity organization and you're registered as a charity, I do have a discount for that, right? This is how much I charge to these charity organizations. If you guys fall into this category and can show me proof in your paperwork that you fall into this category, I'm more than happy to quote you guys that price instead. Otherwise, this is the price that it's going to cost you if you guys want to have me at your event, right? Now, you might have some kind of worked into your normal pricing anyway, some kind of structure that has a little bit of leeway where maybe you ease off some of the product offerings and you can lower the rate. So like, for example, let's just say they wanted you for 2 hours of walk around at $1,200 and they are like, we don't have $1,200. Can you do like $800? You might be like, well, I can't do the 2 hours of walk around. I can do 1 hour of walk around for that price. Or you might say, you know what, that's fine. I could do the 2 hours of walk around, but you're not getting the full package. You're not getting the award-winning stuff. You're just getting like card magic. I just show up with a deck of cards and do card magic all night. Or whatever your concessions are that you're willing to make to come down on your prices. You might have those things baked in already to your act, but it's got nothing to do with the status of their company as a for-profit business or a nonprofit business or otherwise, right? So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you want more information on what I was kind of talking about different ways that you can, upsell or downsell or play with your numbers or whatever like that, I do have a video called Upsells and Downsells, if you guys want to check that out, where I talk a little bit about how you can work with businesses a little bit more or work with clients a little bit more by sort of making these concessions and things. If that's something that you're interested in doing, maybe you're losing a lot of gigs because you're not willing to budge and you're trying to figure out what you can do. That might be a good option for you guys to look into. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment in the comment section below letting me know how you handle the objection, sorry, we're a nonprofit. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.